All right, Mekone turned 61. We finished some research in Conjuration. Yeah, up to level 5, working on 6. We've talked about that. Casting some arcane probing, looking for sites, didn't find anything. Haruspex, didn't find anything. This is Well of Misery coming up from Therados, which is not great news. They get a lot of death gems. It does mean that we get everybody in the world gets a little more income. So it's like not the worst global to have go up, but yeah, it's if anybody's fighting Therados, this is a big problem and not great for us in the long run. We missed with a Dark Knowledge, and we missed with a Site Search, and then we got raided by TNN, so, this is sort of a more budget group, right? The more budget commander to bless up some of his Sacreds, 1 PD, they have no trouble with that. And then, this is a pretty heavy raid from Russ, kind of interesting. It's, relatively heavy PD, like, I think, probably like 6 or 10 investment. Jaguar Tribe are not good. Let's take a look. Yeah, these guys are pretty geared. So, if I've seen Sea King raiders and kind of low tier super combatants, I guess you could consider them. These guys are pretty protected against shock. Yeah, pretty good elemental resistances all around. Their protection is not great, but the kitting is like fairly cheap. These are all 5 gem items, which is nice. Like no shield and like actually pretty good attack skill, but the Frostbrand, they don't need it, and they have quite a few water gems. They generate gems, so it's probably just like built up. And yeah, it looks like they're giving themselves quickness, which should be pretty good. I don't know, this is a very like heavy Breath of Winter. Like I could see this being nasty to deal with. Certainly more than enough. They're gonna tear through this. I mean, we know the result. But yeah, probably looking to like catch raiders, I would expect, because that's like way too much stuff for just taking out PD. And then Calum attacked Russ in Knobville, and this is just a very right. This is like more appropriate for taking out PD. This guy doesn't even have any gems. He's got like a random deer tribe and a ghoul. This might actually be too light to take out PD. It's definitely too light to take this out. So this actually looks like an army here from Russ. Don't think we've seen this. Pretty serious, right? Here's these Ether Warriors. They're real expensive. The Sea Trolls, like, not cheap to summon in. They really struggle with the attack and defense skill. Don't have a lot of protection, but a lot of regeneration. And like a decent amount of casters. Ooh, this guy's pretty messed up. So this guy's about to die. But yeah, he's got a high level air caster here. Another guy. These guys have probably summoned storm power. I don't think they're. Oh no! Wow, nice air 3 out the box. There's a Troll King here. Like it's got some caster support. This is looking pretty serious. Not sure what the Firebirds are here for. I mean, maybe he's just got them. We've talked about that before, but. And this guy retreats. Okay, so then I guess this was just an attempted like gem bait, probably. I don't think there were even any gems to really bait out, and I also don't think that would have been enough. So yeah, anyway, Calum's commander probably survives, and he loses some stuff he doesn't care about. I don't know, kind of an interesting, but really more just interested in taking a look at like what Russ is rocking. And then we raided. Speaking of too much stuff for minimal PD, we had no trouble there. But you never know when you're gonna bump into an elf. And then Russ, that same army, takes the fort in Knobville. And then, locals conducting demon worship, of course, 3-headed calves, we love that. Some gold, the Amulet of Resilience, which is a 10 gem item, very nice, thank you, luck. Even with luck, I think this is probably a place, Marverni, we haven't had it very long, we probably don't have full luck scales here, so Thune got shrunk, and then, Bane Venom Charm, classic, and then some patrolling, and etc. So, what are we up to? Not too much, a quieter turn. The main thing that we're doing is we are building a city palisade here on top of the throne, and we're moving in like a bunch of our polo marks to try to cover it. Not bringing in a ton of troops. I don't know, could go either way. Like the troops kind of get in the way a lot of times when we're fighting the thugs. And then we're gonna go ahead and retake this. This is the province that got raided from us. Continuing to use our Polomark group here. Put a little PD in. We'll see. We still have Sea of Ice, but obviously this was a province that Atlantis had. It's a nice province too. Good amount of gem income and like actually decent income as well, which should go up a bit when the unrest goes down. And then, yeah, speaking of unrest, right, we have the unrest problems here. So moving a commander in to fix that next turn. We can see that Arcocephali has moved forward with their Oread Thug taking this province. Yeah, I think, like, you know, sending out screening forces is really important. I don't know about the Oread Thug overall, but I do like this is a good move. So I'm expecting, like, probably next turn the army will move here, and he may try to use the Thug to jump on top of the fort. I don't know. We'll see. That would be risky, definitely. So yeah, definitely interested to see, like, what happens there. You know, yeah, moving a scout in. He'll probably try to jump on top of Tiananmen's capital soon. Yeah, Therados definitely still has, like, a presence down here. So they did capture some stuff, including Baratos, so that's a big deal. We can see another Therados flag down here. Let's double check. Sea of Ice still up. So they probably already had this fort, and, like, now Therados can just, you know, gateway stuff in. I think they get Astral. By this point in the game, they've probably managed to wriggle their way into it if they didn't already have it. So yeah, they can actually bring reinforcements up, and I think they get some coastal recruits. And anyway, they definitely have a presence here, and, like, yeah, Atlantis still has a presence here. So I don't think, you know, Tiananmen is going to be able to recapture this. They do still have a fort here, but yeah, I think they're probably dead. Again, they still have really good research, so they still have a mage core. Like, you know, it isn't over till it's over. So keeping an eye on that situation. Like, our army is just parked, and, like, yeah, really just kind of focusing, like, on research, doing a little bit of forging, kind of moving our scouts forward into Kalem's territory. Also trying to, it looks like Agartha is doing pretty well, or at least pushing against Niflheim. And so, yeah, we would like to witness that battle, and, you know, just, yeah, continuing to try to keep an eye on, like, this Russ-Kalem conflict. Like, Russ obviously still has, you know, significant forces left, so they're not out, but, like, yeah, they are definitely on the defensive, so, you know, wanting to keep an eye on that. And, yeah, recruitment-wise, basically none. I think, where is it? We're recruiting, like, one researcher in the capital. Ouch. We're probably overbuilt in terms of troops, and, like, yeah, not getting full income from Marverni is, like, you know, this is a lot of income that we're losing out on, so that really hurts. And then, of course, you know, most of our money is going into this silly city palisade this turn. So yeah, I think that covers turn 61. All right, Mekone, turn 62, another dire portent, always a good sign. We were still doing our remote site searching, found a farm of plenty, which is very sad because there's no gems that come from this. And let's see, this is Vanheim, who cast Wild Hunt, which is, yeah, I don't know, kind of an interesting global. I think it's, like, all priests, yeah, priests of other pretenders get attacked, like assassination battles happen against them if they're in forests. So yeah, it's kind of a narrow, like, weird one, and, like, I don't think it's really considered, like, one of the stronger globals. I will say that I was in a game with Pythium, and pretty much all of their mages are priests, and my capital was in a forest, and it was extremely annoying because, you know, my slow to recruit guys would come in, they were priests, and, you know, more often than not they would get hit in an assassination battle, and, like, unkitted and unprotected, they would just die. So it kind of blocked like, my cap only, like, kind of important, you know, mage recruitment. So I think, like, in the right situation, you know, if you're up against somebody who has important mages that aren't going to do great in assassination battles, and, you know, especially if it's, like, cap only and their capital's in a forest, this isn't necessarily the craziest thing to cast. Like, you don't get to control, you know, who they attack, so there's going to be a lot of, like, you know, attacks that aren't that useful for you. And it will paint a bit of a target on your back, right? But not everybody's going to care about it a ton. So, like, niche, like, maybe this is a good idea. I don't really know, like, who Vanheim is fighting. But yeah, not, like, the craziest plan, but not, like, just one of those, not a global you're going to see, like, every game. So interesting, though, nonetheless, and important for us because we have a fort in a forest, and all of our mages are sacred or priests. So, like, this is right. It's like, now I'm like, where's Vanheim? Like, you know, if I bordered him, this would definitely be an argument to be like, yeah, maybe we go kill Vanheim. So again, like, yeah, it does paint a target on your back depending on, like, who it is, and we don't love this. So that's something we need to worry about now. So yeah, dark knowledge, missed. Arcane probing, missed. Sight searching, missed. Wood of many paths, missed. We're doing a lot of sight searching. And then yeah, the Sea Kings bump into some stuff and cannot deal with it. Oh, just one Sea King? That's interesting. I thought the report said 2. But yeah, he runs into like an actual army here and so you can see like, yeah, Caleb has a squad of Spirehorns that he just doesn't give a shit about and sends them in right away, making it really difficult, right? Like, I don't think this guy got off. Yeah, he cast Quicken Self, so you get like 1 spell off, assuming you're not like a spell singer, in which case I'm not even sure you get the 1 spell off. And he does like manage to maybe get Liquid Body in. Hard to say. He might have gotten interrupted. Yep, looks like he got interrupted because I don't see Liquid Body here unless it hasn't gone off yet. Now, he does regenerate a good amount, but like, yeah, protection is just not good enough, right? Like, you know, these Spirehorns, like, they deal a decent amount of damage, you know, with the lance and its magic and all that stuff. Yeah, he's almost dead. And like, here comes the air elementals. Like, this at least baited some gems, which is good, but I don't really foresee it working. There's also like a massive mage core back here, multiple Eagle Kings it looks like, and then yeah, quite a few of these Arius Seraphs. Yeah, we're probably on the air elemental duty, and then we'll Thunderstrike, and then, you know, a lot of chaff. I will say that, like, yeah, other than the initial, right, like, these Spirehorns are going in unprotected, like, and unbuffed, and then, you know, he just has corpse constructs, which are pretty garbage. So it's like, assuming that you're not going to get trampled by the air elementals, like, I mean, you know, air elementals are tough to fight, so like, this is a really dangerous army, but it is fairly narrow, right? Like, it's, you know, it's going to Thunderstrike, you know, can you survive like the initial wave of like unbuffed birds, and like, can you handle air elementals? So a scary army, definitely, but certainly not unbeatable. But yeah, I think our Sea King friend here, he doesn't have enough protection, right? Birds, they just kill him, even with quite a bit of regeneration. So yeah, that does not work out. Kills basically nothing. Oh, he got 2 kills. That's what it was. So yeah, just 1 Sea King. Don't know where the other one went. Yeah, hopefully went better for him. And then yeah, that was the only battle that we caught. And then we took control of like this province from TNN. He didn't put any PD in. Obviously, he's kind of on the ropes. And then yeah, calves with the 3 heads, maybe demons, village well, red. We got some gems, which is nice. And then we also got a water lens and some gold from a gift, and then, you know, barbarians. Like, we do have turmoil 3, and yeah, just, I'm not sure you can really ever stop barbarian attacks, like maybe with perfect scales. But so anyway, we lose a province to barbarians, classic. Yeah, still with the Bane Venom, and we lose our scout here, unfortunately. So this is the force, it must have been patrolling, that the Sea King bumped into. And then, yeah, some other patrolling, which we don't care about. So yeah, another quiet turn. Our income is definitely going up. We're going to get our patrolling going this turn, which is going to help a lot. Yeah, you can see the income just continuing to drop in Marverny. And then, yeah, still working on our fort construction, you know, pushing around our site searchers, getting some research in, like all that good stuff. It looks like Arcocephali did not choose to jump on top of the capital. There's now a Mystic here, maybe looking to like catch an Elven counter raider, and Oreads are stealthy, right? So she could be on top of the capital. Like, she could have gone back. She could be, you know, anywhere surrounding these provinces. And then, yeah, this fort is cracked, right? So this is the Agarthan force that's sitting on top of this fort. You know, mainly Pale One warriors and Pale Ones, like, they're pretty garbage. The Great Olms will help, you know, with the Mind Blast and stunning the enemy. You know, anything can kill, like, stun enemies. And Pale Ones are decently strong. They do a lot of damage. It's just the trouble is getting them to connect. So, yeah, with enough Great Olms, and assuming that the magic resistance isn't, you know, too high on Niflheim's stuff, like, this could definitely work. Looks like there's only 2 Oracles of the Dead. Like, hard to say how much mage support. Could be a little light in terms of, like, overall mage support. And I mean, we've seen Niflheim, you know, they got infinite skeletons. Infinite skeletons is really a very effective, like, fort defense mechanism. You know, there's definitely ways around it, but, like, yeah, this might actually struggle a bit, like, trying to go inside the fort. So we'll see. And it looks like, you know, Agartha is, like, overall, like, it does look like the war is in their favor, you know, because they got another fort under siege down here that's a throne. So, like, yeah, we'll see. But, you know, this could still be turned around. Niflheim may just be biding their time. And then, yeah, and this is the scout that we lost. So we've actually kind of lost we didn't have amazing information. That's why we're trying to like push more scouts like up through like Kalem's land. We can also getting an idea of like Ermor's borders and everything. Like Ermor is like still quite large. They have really good research. Apparently they're struggling to finish off Kael'thasa. Kael'thasa had a sub probably a while back when they were down to like almost nothing, and it's just like, it's like, hey, you just do a cap defense, and like they've been managing to hold out. So yeah, I guess the sub is doing a pretty good job. Ermor they're fighting other people as well, so like they're probably not devoting like their full attention to Kael'thasa kind of thing. And then we see like a huge stack of ghosts, right? So like I would say that Theridos has made landfall in a big way. And this would, and he's got like Telkeens, who just they automatically cast foul vapors right at the start of every combat, and they're like pretty good casters and super combatants. Like really cool units. Like one of the things that like Theridos gets. So like this is looking real dangerous, and they look very well established. So. Yeah, that's not great news for like Arcocephali, because like obviously it would have been nice for them to have picked up Baratos. They did like a good amount of lifting against TNN, and like they haven't really gotten that much yet. Like they got the fort and Titan Steps. I'm not sure how valuable that is. They'll hopefully get this fort as well. They have a little bit of time because these are still independent, but like this ghost stack could like probably take this fort, and like maybe looking to take the capital. So they definitely can't wait too long. On the other hand, like TNN's very dangerous. So, if you rush in and lose your whole army, like that's pretty bad too. So, but there is like a bit of a race on, I would say, like for TNN's capital. I think that covers scouting, and we're not up to too much, like I said, just site searching and research. So I think that covers turn 62. All right, Mekone, turn 63, finish research and conjuration 6. That's as far as we want to go for now. So now we're headed up alteration. We're gonna try to make it all the way to 9. There's a lot of good stuff along the way. 7 especially we're looking at. 8 is not bad. We've talked about that before. Still doing our site searching and, missing. Found Garden of Pearls here, so that's nice. And then Forest Dome as a spell we cast with our Pretender. So this is on our capital, and it's going to block like 30% of spells. And I think this one is permanent, and we don't have to, some of the domes you have to continue to spend gems. Like it only lasts a certain amount of time. You spend more gems and it lasts longer. This is one of the ones that's permanent. It's only a 30% chance to block hostile spells, which is its purpose. And then it gets destroyed by fire spells. I still don't know like how much value these domes are. 30% is not great in terms of blocking spells. I think like if you really want to protect a province, you need to layer quite a few domes on it of like different types. I don't even think we have the paths really to cast a lot of the other domes. We may not have the research. It's like, on the other hand, later in the game, like people are definitely going to hit your capital with really nasty like province kill spells. Not always, but like and we're not super capital dependent as Mekone, right? I think for some nations this makes a lot of sense. Like we're very capital dependent in the sense that we really want our mages, but we don't have like sacreds, like cap sacreds that we really want in terms of units. And I don't think you can realistically get a province, especially one that like a capital that starts with a ton of population, to a point where it can't even recruit mages, at least not with like kill spells. There are unrest spells that can lock down recruitment. I don't know. Anyway, it's just going to make our capital harder to mess with, which I like. And just kind of experimenting. But could be a waste of gems. And then, Dark Knowledge we missed, speaking of wasting gems. Regular site searching we missed. Iron Tomb, I don't actually know that one. Nice, 2 gems. Yeah, so that's cool. And then let's see. That was Magic Site, and another miss here. And then this is that same rating group that we saw before. Against, really shouldn't have put 6 PD out yet. So, whoops. And then there was a battle here. This was a storm, I believe, but there wasn't anything inside for Niflheim. So and actually looks solid, right? He's got a good chunk of Mind Blasters in the back. Like these guys are kind of set back, really probably more for siege strength. And then it looks like these guys are gonna go in as thugs, and they've been twice born. So not a ton of gear, fire sword, like not great. May have just gotten it from like random events, but it's like, hey, it's a sword. I think normally they just have like, I don't know, a club or something. And like good amount of hit points. Vine shield always nice, and then robe of invulnerability kind of expensive. So like yeah, I don't know. Hopefully he got that as an item. But it does solve his protection issues against like mundane damage. And then yeah, this guy's unkitted, so maybe just caster mode. Yeah, some weapons of sharpness. Looks like this guy's also caster mode. I was thinking they were gonna go in, because like, I don't know, just sending pale ones in as the assault force. It's a good thing this fort is empty, let's just say that. But, I mean, a good amount of Mind Blaster support, weapons of sharpness is going to help a lot. So, not bad. Not really tested there either. And then, yeah, this was huge. 400% tax income on a capital. Very nice. Thank you, luck. 8 fire gems, very nice. 6 astral pearls, also very nice. And then, yeah, the world is just +1 drain for reasons. And then, all the normal stuff. So, yeah, what are we up to? Again, kind of a quiet turn, doing this dance with TNN, just recapturing provinces. Like, I don't really care. It's mostly just, want to keep our flag on it so other people don't jump in. Looks like Arcocephali did move out, so we're moving our scout back onto TNN's capital, looking to catch a battle there next turn. So that should be interesting. And then, yeah, just, cruising around, not too worried about keeping eyes on Therados just yet, because we shouldn't border them. Hopefully Arcocephali will keep us away. Like, yeah, Atlantis is kind of more our underwater problem, I would say. So, yeah, moving our scouts, like, down to see more of the Kalem Russ War, moving off this fort, because I think we probably, at this point, don't need to keep eyes on TNN anymore, really. And then, yeah, this was a mistake, I think. What is he? Yeah. So there's this province, right? 153 unrest, and I'm thinking like there's got to be an unrest site here. But most of the unrest sites are like blood or death, which we should have already found, and like we didn't find. So I went and did some hunting and looked it up, and apparently there's a site you can find with air that causes unrest. So I was like, all right, excellent. That's got to be it. So I moved this guy out to do some site searching here in air, which like is fine. It's not the end of the world, but I should have just, you can press, if you have a province selected, you can just press I, and it brings up the history of the province and like what has happened there. And somewhere in here, I think it was a while ago, yeah, there's a monster boar here. So like that's what's causing the unrest. So yeah, this is a waste of time. We'll see. Maybe we'll find an air site here, but yeah, I did a bunch of work and I was just absolutely convinced. I'm like, yep, this has got to be that site. And it's like, nope, just monster boar. Like really need to pay more attention to the random events. And in my defense, like we probably didn't own this province, right? Like when this happened. So like, when you capture provinces, like it's not a bad idea to take a look at that history. And especially like if you're seeing stuff like really high unrest, it's like, yeah, take a look at the history. Probably some event happened in there and like, yeah, you need to deal with it. So anyway, that's what that's about. We do have like, speaking of mistakes, this is like kind of our, latest and greatest and most heavily equipped thug group, and they're headed out to take out a bunch of barbarians. Yeah, this is probably overkill and a bunch of wasted research. So, not the best move, but like you love to see, you want to, you kit these thugs out, like you want to use them. And I do think there is something to be said for like really fast, heavily geared thugs that can just immediately squash, things like a bunch of barbarian attacks. Like if you're going heavy misfortune or like heavy turmoil or both, like yeah, having like some thugs on hand that are ready to just immediately squash that stuff is really advantageous. Or better yet, you move them there ahead of the barbarian attacks, so they can just squash it as it happens. But anyway, yeah, these guys not quite fast enough, and yeah, wasting some turns and some research, and it's fine. We have plenty of research. So yeah, otherwise like just pushing scouts around. Yeah, we see, like, speaking of, like, what Urmor is busy with, so they're still fighting as well, so, interested to see, like, what's going on here. This fort is not cracked, so you might just be holding it down. And yeah, I think that more or less covers it. This is, not Site Searcher. Recruitment, right, we haven't talked recruitment in a second. So yeah, speaking of being overbuilt, so, I have a bunch of money, so what do? Recruiting more troops. And, we've talked about how, like, the Peltasts with Perpetual Storm are a lot less effective. And in my defense, like, these human hoplites are pretty cheap to maintain and, fairly slow to bring in, like I've talked about. So yeah, we're building, troops everywhere, lizard shamans, of course, and then we are starting to get more cyclopses, because I think they are very useful units. I think we more or less have all the randoms that we want. Maybe we didn't get an Air 2 guy. I don't think we have an Air 2 guy, which is a really useful random. So yeah, there's a couple randoms that we want, at least one random that we want, and they're just really useful units. It's just, they are very expensive, but I think we've reached the point in the game where it's probably worth it, to start popping a few more of these guys out. Otherwise, mostly Archons, who, we've talked about at length. Yeah. So that's recruitment. Again, probably overbuilding on the troops, I think. But that's just my inclination. So as turn 63. All right, Mekone turn 64, moving up in our alteration research, which is good. Missing with our site searching, which is bad. Quite a few misses. We're summoning in specters, which is good. Love specters. So this could give us, some more death access. I mean, we have decent death access at this point, but really, we're looking for the Astral Earth cross path, and would be a good way to get into kind of higher astral as well, potentially. So yeah, we'll have to take a look at that specter and see what we got. Not all of them are created equal. Missing with some manual site searching. Found a boiling bog. I think this is 2 gems. Yeah, 2 gems. So that is really nice. And then let's see. We found a sun ridge. Don't actually know that one either. Nice. Also 2 gems. So a better turn, definitely, for our site searching. And then, some more searches that missed. We took control of this province that TNN had raided. Just, doing that dance back and forth. And then let's see, I think this is a little interesting. This is Therados, that big old ghost stack. Okay, maybe not as interesting, but yeah, some Frost Devils or Frost Fiends, who are devils. And yeah, this is a Melia Thug. Decent kitting, I would say, nothing too crazy, just, solid protection, fairly decent paths. Yeah, she's a hero too. That's cool. Heroic toughness. Nice. More hit points. These are pretty cool chassis. They have pretty strong built-in awe. I'm pretty sure this is all built in. Cool units, definitely. Therados is an interesting nation for sure. Does she have any cold resistance though? Yeah, she does. Only 5 from the Frost brand. So that's a little scary. But the ghosts, I think, they don't really give a shit about the cold. And these are just, speaking of peltasts, hey, these are ghost peltasts. So, kind of an upgrade over our peltasts in a lot of ways. I'm not really actually sure. I mean, the fact they don't care about cold helps a lot. And I don't think Frost Fiends do great in melee. Yeah, really low protection. Their skills are decent. And they have this Ice Rod, which is a good amount of magic damage. I think it's a 2-handed weapon, probably. Obviously, they don't care about cold. And yeah, but their thing is definitely if you can deal with the cold, then they're not too bad. Although it does look like that Melia, did she take? No, it was a ghost that took a really big hit there. So they're able to cut these guys down without too much trouble. Loses a few ghosts. There's the javelins coming out. They are peltasts. So yeah, he loses 16 of these guys, but these are free spawn, and I'm sure he gets a crap ton of these and doesn't care one little bit, so that works out really well. And then speaking of just, people cleaning out independence this turn, so this is Ermor cleaning out some independence, some devils. That Hellgate, everybody is, I don't know, I think it's a story event, and you can turn those off, and that's definitely fairer, if you're looking for kind of more of a tournament style, game, I guess. But I just kind of like that. It does change the flavor, right? So it's everybody's having to deal with these demon and devil attacks. That's, you're gonna get some of that every game, but not to this level if you don't have the Hellgate open. So I kind of like it. It just a little more flavor to your games. But I can certainly see the opposing argument. And it's kind of an interesting army. This guy's probably here for army of lead or gold. But this probably didn't trigger gem usage. Yeah, would be my guess. And then he's just got the trolls along. And then he's using I don't know. I don't like these guys as much, but they are cheaper at least. And they do the job. So this works out just fine. Not too much there. Devils are, I think, better versus more elite units, against just kind of a mass of average troops. Yeah, they don't do great. Again, they don't have fantastic protection, which seems to be somewhat common for a lot of the summonable demons, but I don't know. I don't do a ton of blood. Then there was a battle in TNN, so Arcosafali did choose to jump on top, and like, yeah, we've seen this army before, definitely. This is just like, I think more or less the same strategy, but like doubled down, just even more stuff. You can see all the water bottles assassinations have definitely been an issue. And it does have the added benefit of like now he just gets a bunch of water elementals every fight, and like TNN chose not to patrol. This is just their PD. Quite a bit of PD, and then also the shock helms, right? This is like where that's coming from. The meteors, like, ooh, that is real scary, because the sacreds go in, and there's probably going to be more meteors. And this is early enough. Like, these are scripted meteors. Definitely wipes out at least one or two of his guys. But I guess they are only one per square, right? So you're not going to lose like too many per meteor. So like, I don't know. Dropping rocks is always tough. He only loses one Wind Rider, takes out the PD, no problem. It'll be interesting to see what kind of defense like TNN manages to mount. I talked about, so these are the Assassination Battles. So I messed up twice on these. I moved my prophet into this province, and like this is the main guy. There's like multiple of these groups. And so like, this, I don't know if he always gets these particular items or it's a random grab bag, but like, he's decently tough to kill, like not crazy or anything, but against like whatever random mage or not mage, in this case is just like our unkitted like prophet assassin, who is not going to do well. He's going to get ripped to shreds by these dogs, no doubt. I just forgot, like I wasn't, think obviously your prophet is a priest, right? And I was just like, these guys, like they're not priests. I don't need to worry about moving him into a forest. So I just moved him right in, and he immediately gets ganked. So that's a little sad. And then speaking of, more people getting ganked, this is just me not realizing. So these guys, they're not priests, but they are sacred. And so these assassination battles target priests and sacred commanders. So we're going to lose some research items here and a lizard shaman. Very sad, extra sad, because the province that we recruit lizard shamans out of is in fact a forest, and it's one of our forts. So this spell, it is kind of annoying. We'll have to figure that out. And then some locust swarms, that's fine. Somebody burning down fairy. Oh no, this is just a fairy court moving through, but we lose all of our attacks, which is sad. Found a magic ore site, which is nice. Some defense, and the normal stuff. But we also had one of our heroes appear. This guy's pretty cool. Don't ask me how to pronounce his name, but he is Dominion Immortal, right? So as long as he's inside our own Dominion when he dies, he comes back immediately, right? So he pops back up in our capital, like, the very next turn. He's pretty cool. Like, otherwise, he's basically just a Polemarch, right? Like a slightly better Polemarch. He's got Earth 3 instead of Earth 2, and he's a level 2 priest, so he can bless himself, which is really nice, definitely. But, mostly you can think of this guy. He's giving him Berserk with the axles. Like, I don't remember him having Berserk. You can basically think of him as like a Polemarch that's like immortal in your own dominion. So like he's cool, but like not game changing. We are probably going to try to turn him into a Phoenix Pyre Thug, which I don't know. Phoenix Pyre is a divisive spell, and I think it's really difficult to create an effective Phoenix Pyre Thug. But I got this item for free. It provides a ton of reinvigoration. Screw it, let's give it a shot. So we're working on his kitting. He's getting there. So in terms of what we're up to this turn, again, kind of a slower turn. Obviously, like we saw TNN jump on top of this capital, or not TNN, Arcosafali jump on top of TNN's capital. So definitely interested in that. We do see Atlantis, they still have a good amount of troops here on this border. I think Sea of Ice is still up, but it's not going to be up for much longer because, TNN is the one that put it up, and they're probably on their way out, assuming that, we'll see, right? Capitals are hard to take. Also, speaking of globals, luckily we don't actually have to deal with like our lizards that are about to all get assassinated in that forest because that global went down for some reason. I'm assuming someone dispelled it. because it also goes down if like the king of the hunt dies, but since the king of the hunt killed our prophet successfully, like, yeah, and it's not like somebody else killed him this turn. I'm pretty sure he only gets to make one assassination a turn, in addition, of course, to all the other like smaller groups. But yeah, so that went down, which is nice. So thank you, whoever dispelled that. That also helped me. Recapturing like this barbarian province, which with our thugs, which we talked about. Still trying to keep an eye on this Agarthan war. Like there's a Gullum here on our border, right? So he's teleporting in Gullums, it looks like. Like, yeah, this is not looking good for Niflheim, but both of his capitals that he owns, right, are still, not locked down. And like, yeah, so I mean, Niflheim is pretty small and has been rolled back. I don't know how big Agartha is. So this isn't looking good, but not all is lost, I would say, for Niflheim. Yeah, we've kind of like lost sight on like the Rus-Kalem conflict. I mean, you can see Kalem is like just ridiculous. Like their shape is like hilarious. Yeah, like this is kind of I think this is more like an intermediate game. I think if it's like, yeah, it's like if I was Arcocephali, it's hard to say. Arcocephali does border Kalem like decent amount, and he is pretty busy, and like messing with other players, but this is just basically, there's no way Kalem can defend like territory that's all the way down here, even like as flyers, like he's got like an empty, well, we don't actually know if it's empty, so maybe he can, but I just think there's no way that, he's going to be defending. We're moving this scout out to like see. He's got this hilarious finger of territory, like way down here, extends all the way up along here, and then all the way out to here. Like this is just too much ground to cover, even as flyers. So, to that end, this is the turn that I end my non-aggression pact with Kalem. It's a 6-turn non-aggression pact, which I will probably never be signing again. It's just too long. Like there's no way to predict. Like 6 turns is a long time, and that's a lot of game state to change. So I didn't like that. And then obviously the other things that happened. But yeah, I think this is the turn, right? It's like TNN's capital is locked down. I think we're pretty much safe at this point from TNN. Probably could have gotten away with ending the non-aggression pact sooner, but honestly, like. We've been fighting a lot. Like, we were on the ropes. We needed a little time. I mean, I could use more time to recover, and we're going to try to use these 6 turns effectively. And then, like, in terms of overall picture, right? Like, was this a good idea? And, like, of course, I'd be lying if I said that what transpired between us, right, as human beings, like, that definitely had an influence, right, on choosing Kalem as a target, right? So that is part of it, absolutely. However, happily, I think Kalem is actually still the right target for us, like even just in a void, forgetting everything that happened, right? We don't actually have a lot of neighbors, right? We neighbor Kalem, right? We neighbor Arcocephali, and we neighbor like Niflheim, or maybe soon to be Agartha, right? And that's pretty much it, right? So we have 3 targets we can go for. Arcocephali is pretty powerful, and they have, good research. Could we beat them in a fight? Like, maybe, but they definitely have more research than us. They're not massive, right? So, like, size-wise, they're, like, a decent target for us. But the 3 major downsides, right, to attacking them is, like, first and foremost, like, they actually helped us out a ton against TNN. Like, they were the ones that bailed us out against TNN. So, for me to turn around and, like, immediately attack them, I mean, right, none of this is like binding, it's a war game, like we're all trying to win, it would be fine, but it's still like kind of a dick move. Like it's not I wouldn't feel great about it. So that's part of it. Also, the research advantage, which I mentioned, that's an important factor. And then the other thing is, like, it would then leave us with a border with Therados, which, like, I'm not interested in, right? We know that Therados they're even more powerful than Arcocephali, right? And they're an underwater nation and a pop kill nation. Like, there's just a lot of reasons that you don't want to fight Therados. I don't know how we stack up to him, matchup wise, really, but it's just like, yeah, so it's like I'm gonna have to fight somebody who helped me out, and then that's gonna leave me with a border with a really powerful pop kill underwater. And it was like, nah, no thanks. I'd rather have Arcocephali like as a buffer, to Therados. So I think, Arcocephali, like, not really the right target for us. Obviously, like, Niflheim is, struggling right now, so in that sense, they're kind of an attractive target. But then, of course, realistically, if we attack Niflheim at this point, we're also attacking Agartha. I don't have as much information on Agartha, so I don't really know how big they are. My main issue, right, with this war, other than, again, been fairly friendly like with Niflheim all game long. Not that, again, right, it's only one person wins, so I don't think there'd be any hard feelings if I attacked him at this point. But we saw like Atlantis attack Niflheim, right? So we know that like Atlantis is very much interested in this territory, and there's a throne right here, like on the coast. So I think that, if, let's say, like I attacked Niflheim and Agartha and won, it would leave me with quite a bit of coastline that we know that Atlantis is interested in, right? And Atlantis is, probably the number one, like, strongest nation right now, and an underwater nation. They're not pop kill, at least, but anyway, I'm not, like, thrilled to be fighting Atlantis either, right? So it's like, this would probably be an easier war in terms of, like, strength of the relative powers involved, although again, Agartha we don't really know a whole lot about, so they might actually be massive. We'd need to do more scouting before jumping in, but again, it would leave me with like a pretty big coastline that we know that this powerful underwater player is interested in grabbing, so not super appealing, right? And then there's Calum, and like we have just an absolutely like massive border with Calum, and again, like I said, his shape is just like silly. So I think it's going to be really hard for Calum, to cover all of this territory. We have like a massive border with them. Their capital isn't actually like that far, like from our territory, right? Like it's only like what, a 2-3 province move, right? Because these passes are not. Calum has at least, it's summer. He probably has cold 3 or cold 2. So like these mountain passes are probably like never really going to be open. So like, there are quite a few mountains here. So like there are definitely difficulties in terms of like invading Calum's heartland, but like his capital is right here, so we could potentially not like land a relatively quick knockout blow, in theory. Obviously with the 6-turn nap he's going to have plenty of time to prepare, and he seems like a good player, and he's massive, so I don't think it's going to be a short war, but the fact that like we don't have to drive super deep into his territory to reach his capital is nice. There's a throne right here on our border. We really want, like, we should own these. Like, these should be ours, right? This is, part of Hinnom's, like, cap circle. Like, there's a lot of resources here. They're in our dominion. We should own these. There's just, there's a lot of reasons, like this down here. Like, come on, like this. So, like, I think, like, Calum makes sense anyway. And then, vengeance. Or, possibly defeat. I also think it's going to be an interesting war. I've never fought the birds before, right? I've never fought like a flying nation, so it's going to be a good learning experience. Calum's research is also like not overpowering. Let's take a quick look and see like where it's at. So that's Calum's research. Hopefully you guys can see that down there on the right. And I think our research actually... our rate of research just overtook his recently. So, it's still area under the curve, right? So he's got more research than us, definitely at this point, but like we're not far behind. So like research-wise, like we're actually like fairly close. It's a fairly even matchup. And then of course he's busy, right? He's busy with another war. Now, again, 6-turn nap. So, maybe he could tie it up. It's definitely looking like Russ is on the defensive, but maybe not, right? So, we have a massive power who is roughly equal to us in research and is going to, have difficulty defending his territory. And, we have a lot of attack options, like a lot of attractive attack options, early on in the war. And his attention is divided. So, absolutely, I think it's the right war for us. And, that's what we're going to be preparing for. And that's what's... A lot of this movement is still like site searchers, but we are starting to bring up the latest and greatest in, raiding technology. So, like, we're just using independent commanders and, like, 20 peltasts. This will usually take out, like, 6 PD and, like, really starting to look at, like, more kind of like high pressure but, like, low commitment style of fighting, which I think is really like where you want to be in Dominions. And so like still like working on this, but gonna start to see like more rating like this, less rating by like Polomarks, although definitely the Polomarks will still be involved. I think that kind of covers plans and where we're at and what we're doing, and that was turn 64.